Hello, everyone. Welcome to Money Hour Radio, a show where we try to help you grow your money, cut your taxes, and have a beautiful retirement. I am one of your co-hosts, Ben Barzideh. I have my trusted, esteemed co-host, Matt Nadeau here.
Hey, everybody.
We are both founding partners and wealth managers at Barzideh and Nadeau Wealth Management, a comprehensive financial planning firm located locally right here in Barrington. And we are fiduciaries. And as an independent, family-owned firm, we truly have the freedom to focus solely on your interests and not some corporations or those shady private equity companies.
Yeah. And of course, as always, we want to say hi to all of our clients who are listening today. We hope all of you made it okay through St. Patrick's Day without any challenges, maybe saw the Green River. But thanks for listening. You know, we appreciate the trust you placed in us, and we love every one of you.
Which, by the way, Matt, finally some warm weather. Look what I'm wearing versus just...
I know. It's getting there.
Thank
Spring
God.
is around the corner, everybody. So we got a great show. Like, we've got actually a few topics we're going to kind of hit real quick. We're going to talk about a crazy one. You may not even know that there's a new investment, an ETF, about UFOs. We'll talk about that.
Where else are you going to hear that, right? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you tune in, right? To hear this crazy stuff. Then, of course, the Fed met this week. We're going to talk about the Fed. We always have to do that. We're going to talk about private credit, the concerns behind what private credit is and the concerns behind it. And then lastly, we're going to talk about in our first segment, a defensive shift that we at Barzideh and Nadeau Wealth Management has taken. And we're going to talk about how that plays in with our investment process. And then lastly, in the last segment, we're going to talk about a special needs trust. And for many of you out there, that could be very beneficial to protect some of your loved ones.
You don't want to miss that. And as always, if you're listening to us on our radio, AM 560, that's great. That's our home. But did you know we also have a YouTube channel where you can listen to the same podcast and the previous ones? You can see us. It's not live, but it's recorded. You can go to moneyhourradio.com. You can like and subscribe to that. Also, please sign up for our weekly economic newsletter. It's called the 5-Minute Market Brief. It's informative, succinct, easy to read, lets you know on a weekly basis exactly what we're seeing, what we're doing, our analysis. And then while you're at bnwealth.com, hey, please follow us in our social media pages. Like us on Facebook and Instagram. All right, Matt, let's get into it. Big week this week.
I guess with a big week, we're going to talk about UFOs.
Yeah.
All right. You probably didn't expect to hear about UFOs on our show, but actually there is a new ETF, an exchange traded fund that invests in UFOs.
Come on, what a time to be alive, right?
I know. All right, listen, this is called the Tuttle Capital UFO Disclosure ETF, and its ticker symbol is UFOD. Now, listen, we're not saying run out and buy this. Of course, when we talk about it, it's just for informational purposes. But there is this new ETF out there. And, you know, we've heard chatter, of course, about aliens. Maybe they call them NHI, UAPs, UFOs, from some pretty important people. These non-human intelligence, these unidentified aerial phenomena, and obviously we know UFOs, unidentified flying objects.
So first of all, comments on the existence of aliens by former President Obama went viral. And then obviously President Trump, not to be outdone, stepped in, citing tremendous interest in extraterrestrial matters and directed government agencies to release files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. It's a hard word to say. In a logical pairing, so this new ETF, it seeks to capitalize on investing in public companies that can benefit from government disclosure, confirmation, or exploitation of advanced technologies tied to UAPs. And the actively managed fund invests across aerospace, defense, advanced energy, material science, and related tech platforms that may be impacted by disclosure-driven investment and research. Don't go put your life savings in it just yet.
Are there municipal bonds on like Roswell and Area 51?
Good point.
All right. Let's get to another UFO, Jerome Powell. No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. The Fed, right? We had the meeting this week.
Of course.
really was a nothing burger. I mean, honestly, the Fed decision met expectations. They made no changes to interest rates and very minimal changes to the statement and the dot plot. When we look at it, the median dot still showed to expect one rate cut for 2026 and one in 2027. And moreover, changes to expected GDP and inflation projections were really not significant or notable. So basically, wah, wah, not much to talk about.
We could have ended that segment as soon as you said nothing burger.
Yeah, I know. But we
All
wanted
right.
to clarify a little bit.
Hey, the Fed is important even when they're not saying anything. So we want to bring it to you. Okay, so private credit concerns. Private credit worries continue to build. And it's been pushed back to the back of the burner because of the market's attention to the war we're having right now in the Middle East. But it's not something that should be ignored. And we're certainly not ignoring it. We're watching it. So private credit, by the way, is non-bank lending through privately negotiated loans to businesses by private companies. And because there's often a heightened risk that the borrower may be unable to repay the loan, private credit investors can collect generally higher interest rates.
And guys, this is blowing up. This has been around for a while. It's huge out there. So this isn't some small potatoes. And for example, there's one we want to talk about, Blue Owl. They're restricting redemptions from one of its funds and has been kind of the biggest marquee headline related to private credit stress. But the reality is that fears are rising that a lot of these private credit funds, including loans to some of those large software companies we've been talking about that have issues, will have to be marked to a lower level, and that could actually impact earnings of various financial companies. And in the latest signs of stress, JP Morgan actually announced that it's writing down the value of collateral held by private credit firms. So, as of right now, it's not a major headwind on stocks, but the problem is starting to brew, and it's something we need to keep an eye on.
No doubt. We'll be watching that, of course. All right, the big thing's happening. Let's talk about the big one right now. We have shifted to a more defensive stance. So we want to let you, our listening audience, know that. Obviously, another volatile week for the market, and the price action really illustrates how sensitive traders have become to the wartime headlines. And of course, it's all revolving around oil and another down week for the market. So as this event continues to evolve, concerns about rising oil prices continue to mount. And Iran's reaction in the last week in bombing the oil fields of first the neighboring Persian Gulf countries, then those of Israel's, and then Israel reciprocally bombing Iranian oil fields, those are definitely not good in terms of oil prices. It can knock those oil fields offline for weeks or months, thus reducing the supply of oil and raising oil prices. And that's what we're seeing. This is a very fluid situation, and things could get worse, and way faster than investors realize. So that's why we are watching it, and that's why we have now shifted. We have taken measures to get more defensive in our advance and protect models. Matt, elaborate a little bit on that, please.
Yeah, and if you've listened for a while, you know we talk about we have 3 buy and sell signals for our process, the way we manage money. And although the market is down and it's bad headlines, we're in a normal pullback condition right now. We've literally just taken our foot off the gas. We took a first step to reduce our stock exposure while we wait and see what happens next. We have not completely gotten out of the market, but we could be heading there if things get worse. As we've said, we will take action when we see markets deteriorate. And I'm going to ask our listening audience out there, wouldn't you say that this situation with the war is something that is not only becoming concerning, but potentially could get worse? And wouldn't it then be reasonable to then think about shifting your investment strategy, at least some, versus if this war had never happened or wasn't going on? And the question is, what does your advisor do? Do they do something? Do they have risk where they take it off the table? Or do they have the same exact investment strategy and allocations regardless of what's happening in the market and market conditions? I mean, does that make sense to you out there? It definitely doesn't make sense to us.
No doubt. And because, especially the main clientele we work with is retirees. We believe that safety takes an extra special component for that demographic. We will literally get 100% out of the market at times if the conditions warrant it. We do not believe in riding potential market crashes all the way down and watching money dissipate. So we feel it's very important to have a disciplined defensive strategy to get out of the stock market when the risk gets too high. And of course, the best time to have it is before you need it, while things are still fine in the market, not after a crash when it's too late. And we feel that it's still time where you can benefit from a process like ours, given this recent storm that we're having. So if our investment philosophy resonates with you and you're looking to have your money managed like that, then please reach out to us and schedule a complimentary consultation. We will go over your current financial situation. We'll go over your specific goals. If we can help you, that's great. If we can't, that's okay too. We know we can't help everybody. We will still, of course, part as friends. So to explore becoming a client, please reach out to us online at bnwealth.com or call our office at 847-780-2980. All right, don't go anywhere, because after we get back from break, we're going to talk about how a special needs trust can protect your loved ones.
Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. This is Money Hour Radio, a show where we try and help you grow your money, pay less taxes, and have a beautiful retirement. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Nadeau. I, of course, have with me my esteemed co-host, Ben Barzideh.
Hello, everyone.
And we're both founding partners and wealth managers at Barzideh and Nadeau Wealth Management. We're a comprehensive financial planning firm. We're independent. We're located right in Barrington, and we're serving the greater Chicagoland area. And of course, we value giving back to the community and helping make it a better place. And that's why we launched the charitable arm of our company, BN Giving. And it's a way for us to invest in your purpose alongside you.
Here's how it works. If you become one of our clients and you're a faithful tither or a giver to a charity, as long as it's a qualified 501c3, just let us know. Each year, we will match your donations up to 10% of the management fee that you pay us. So basically, we're tithing to your cause. And as our firm grows, so does the collective positive impact that we can have. It's such a neat concept. It's unique to our firm. We're very proud of it. By the way, if you're not a regular giver, that's okay too. Of course, we'd still be honored to work with you. But if giving back is important to you and you want to join our BN Giving community by becoming a client, please reach out to us online at bnwealth.com or call our office at 847-780-2980. All right, let's talk about our financial planning topic today, Matt.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about a special kind of trust, a special needs trust. Kind of came to light. I had a new client come on board that has a special needs sister, in fact. And so we wanted to talk about this so those of you listening understand it. And it's a really important topic that can affect a lot of families out there. But oftentimes it's just not very well understood. And it's the special needs trust. So if you have a loved one with a disability, planning for the future, this is something you really want to learn more about. So I just want to start, and let's do the basics. What's a special need trust? So at its core, a special needs trust, often called an SNT, is a legal arrangement that allows you to set aside money for somebody who has a disability, and at the same time, not putting at risk the government benefits they can receive. So, yeah, I mean, here's the joke of it. The system's like a game where even if you're disabled, but you have too much money, you lose. So it's ridiculous.
So programs like Social Security, insurance, and Medicaid have strict limits. Even receiving a modest inheritance or financial gift can disqualify someone from these programs. So, for instance, if your well-meaning aunt trying to do the nice thing leaves you 20 grand in her will, congratulations, you're now temporarily rich, according to the government, and also potentially it could cut you off from healthcare. It's certainly not ideal. So that's where a special needs trust comes in. Instead of giving money directly to the individual, the assets are placed into a trust and managed by a trustee. This way, the person can still benefit from those funds without losing access to essential benefits.
Yeah, and let's talk about, there's actually two main types of special needs trust. Something called a first party trust and a third party trust. So a first party trust is funded with the beneficiary's own money. So this we often see, let's say if there's a personal injury settlement or maybe some assets that they already owned. And these trusts come with an important caveat. When the beneficiary passes away, any remaining funds actually has to be used to reimburse the state for Medicaid benefits they received. Now, then there's the third party trust. That's actually when somebody else funds the trust. Usually that's a parent, grandparent, sibling, some other loved one. And these are typically found when there is estate planning. Now, this third party trust does not require the same Medicaid payback. Because of that, they're actually typically the preferred option when you're doing these big family estate planning ideas.
No doubt. So why should someone consider setting up a special needs trust? Well, the biggest reason is protection. If you leave money directly to a loved one with a disability, you could unintentionally disqualify them from the very benefits they rely on for healthcare and daily living. So a special needs trust allows you to provide financial support without causing those problems. And it also ensures that funds are available to improve quality of life. So government benefits typically cover really only the basics, things like housing, food, medical care. So a trust can be used for extras like education, therapy, transportation, hobbies, or even vacations.
Yeah, and there's some real key benefits to this trust. So, first, flexibility. The trustee has the ability to use these funds for a whole wide range of supplemental needs like Ben was talking about, right? Things that make your life comfortable, more fulfilling, not just the bare bones basic that you get from the government. Second, you get asset protection. So the trust owns the money, not the beneficiary. So that gets protection from creditors, financial exploitation. All of that's a huge plus, especially for a lot of people who are special needs. They may not also be able to manage finances on their own. So that adds that layer of protection. And then third, you get this peace of mind. If you're a family, you know that there is this structured, well thought out plan, it's in place, and now you have someone who's legally responsible for managing those funds in the beneficiary's best interest.
Now, here's some things to watch out for. I don't want to say pitfalls because these are very important type of arrangements and trust for people that need them. But here's some things to be aware of. One of the biggest factor is actually improperly setting up or doing the management. And if the trust isn't drafted correctly, or if the trustee makes the wrong kind of distribution, like giving cash directly to the beneficiary, that could be a big no-no. It can jeopardize eligibility for benefits. And then another important factor is choosing the right trustee. This person or institution oftentimes needs to understand the rules, be detail oriented, and genuinely care about the beneficiary's well being. And finally, of course, there are costs. Setting up and maintaining a special needs trust is certainly not free, and there are legal fees, administrative expenses, and then ongoing trustee compensation that's necessary. And while these costs are often worth it, they should definitely be part of the planning process, and it needs to be something that you take into consideration and you're aware of.
Right. And just to wrap things up, right, this special needs trust definitely can be a powerful tool for some families. It helps protect financial resources, preserve access to critical benefits, and enhances quality of life for individuals with disabilities. Now, because of the complications with this and all of the nuances, with most financial planning and investing in tax or estate, planning strategies, you need to work with a qualified professional. This especially needs qualified professionals like attorneys, estate planning attorneys, financial planners, sometimes CPAs from the tax side. So you need to coordinate all of this together. And usually, a financial planner like us can help act as the quarterback and coordinate with all the professionals like your attorney, your CPA, and make sure everything's in line.
And I think you can attest to this, Matt. when we're dealing with our clients who may be in a situation like this where they have a child, for instance, that's disabled, one of the biggest concerns you have as a parent, of course, is that chances are that child is going to outlive you. So, who's going to care for them? Who's going to manage their situation when you are no longer around to do it? So, it gives you a certain peace of mind that is so necessary in a situation like that. And we've brought up different type of trusts on our show. We've talked about different arrangements for trust. Maybe it's to protect your kids from a second spouse, or it could be used to protect against death taxes, things like that. But there are so many different trusts and they all serve a different purpose. So this is definitely something that if you have a disabled family member, someone you care about, you want to look into seeing how this could benefit you. And of course, Matt, you talked about how as a financial planner, we're kind of the quarterback of your plan and we work with your different financial professionals. Guess what? If you do need a good financial planner, someone that understands these concepts, someone that puts your interests first, we would be honored if you gave us an opportunity to speak with you. If our investment and financial planning philosophy resonates with you, then please reach out to us and schedule a complimentary consultation. We'll go over your current financial situation and your goals. We can also do something that's called a financial checkup. And this is where we analyze your insurance, your taxes, your estate plan, and your investments. Basically, give you a complete assessment of how things look right now and where you're at in relation to your goals. And if things look good, guess what? You'll gain some peace of mind. We're going to let you know. And if there are holes, then you know at least what areas to fix, what areas you want to focus on. And many people, when we have brought them in, when they have come in for one of these meetings, they tell us that they've never had someone look at all areas of their financial life all at one time. So if that is something you want, we can help you with that. And please reach out to us. You can reach us at 847-780-2980 or go online at bnwealth.com.
Yep. And Ben, one of the things that we talked about earlier in the first segment is we know you're out there listening. There's a ton of volatility in the market right now with this war going on. And if you're worried about your investment portfolio, if your advisor's not doing anything, like we talked about earlier, take advantage of this complimentary consultation where we can not only go over your current portfolio and see if it meets your needs, your risk tolerance, but we can also show you how our Advance and Protect actively managed portfolio works and how that can potentially be a better solution for some retirees when they're worried about the risk of these markets, where if things get bad enough, we will get out of the market completely. So we'd love to go over with that with you, but we're running out of time today. So go to bnwealth.com to learn more. Anyway, God bless you, and we'll see you all next week.